Hello everyone, it's Grace, and the video that I am going to be doing today is the Finally Fall book tag. And I was tagged in this by the wonderful Alan from the Library of Alexandria, one of my favorite channels on this platform. Alan is awesome. He is so funny. His videos are so entertaining, and I just love his content. So he is obviously a much larger channel than mine, so if you are watching this, you most likely know who Alan is, but regardless, I will have his channel linked down in the description below, because on the off chance that you do not know who Alan is, you should definitely go check out his channel. He deserves all the subscribers. So thank you to Alan for tagging me in this one, and I thought that I had better get on this tag because it is called the Finally Fall book tag, and not only are we well past it being finally fall, we're like solidly right in the middle, if not getting towards the end of fall, so don't exactly want to wait on this one. Let's just jump right into it because these questions are pretty interesting. I like them. So question 1 is, in fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. And so for this one, what I decided to go with was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And this is a book that wasn't necessarily for me, but it does have a vivid setting, and I feel like it fits this prompt very well, because one thing that this does have is beautiful writing, very lyrical, and it is very setting focused. I wasn't quite able to connect to this one, but I did appreciate what it did do well, and yeah, the setting is the strength of this book. Question 2 makes me laugh because it's, nature is beautiful, but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. So there were actually quite a few books that I could have chosen for this one that I've read in recent memory that deal with some pretty heavy topics, but the one that I chose to go with is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And for one, I just absolutely adored this book, even though it broke me when I read it. So that's one reason why I picked it for this. But the other reason why I picked it for this is because this book deals with the heavy topic that it deals with is sexual assault. And it also deals with this topic in a hockey town. So the reason that I picked that is because if you follow hockey, if you follow the NHL, you probably know that there has been brought to the forefront throughout, actually starting all the way back this spring and kind of coming to a reckoning now in, well, a couple weeks ago, there is a case of alleged sexual assault in the Chicago Blackhawks organization, and there were, I believe, lawsuits filed, not actually about the alleged sexual assault, but alleging that the Chicago Blackhawks organization knew about this all the way back in 2010 and did nothing. So this deals with a whole bunch of really tough topics, like the culture in hockey of not wanting to come forward and step forward, and how hard it would be for a player who this has happened to actually step forward and talk about their experiences. And it's a really hard topic to talk about in general, so if you don't, I don't want to go too deep into this, so if you don't know about this situation and you're interested in knowing more about it, I'm gonna link a couple of videos in the description below. My favorite hockey podcast did a couple of episodes with the investigative journalist Rick Westhead that was spearheading this entire story, so I will leave those linked if you want to know more. But Beartown is just a very, unfortunately, relevant book that continues to be relevant because of what happens in, well, sexual assault happens not just in hockey culture, but there is a lot to be discussed in hockey culture about that. So, on to another topic. The third question in this tag is, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. I did say onto a different topic, but I didn't say onto a lighter topic. So the book that I picked for this is 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act by Bob Joseph. I just read this in October, so look for it in my October wrap-up as well if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts. But this definitely taught me something new because this, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It breaks down 21 key things to know about the Indian Act, which was a piece of legislation that came into being at the same time that Canada did. So at our independence in 1867, Indian Act came into being along with Canada, and it has governed like a huge amount of the lives of Indigenous peoples in this country for the entire time that we've been a country. And so this is some really important information to know about. It taught me a lot. I said in another video that I think if you're Canadian, you should read this book, and I do think that, but I also just think if you're not Canadian and you're interested in knowing about some of the darker parts of our history as a country, then you should also pick this one up. Now we're finally going to move on to a lighter topic. So that is the fourth question, which is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend time with people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. So for this one, I chose Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So this is Little Women is a classic. I'm sure that even if people haven't read the book, they may have seen the movie. There was a 2018 or 19 adaptation of it. I've seen that one and I really liked it after I read the book. You can see on my version of the cover here, you have the four sisters' names, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. And the March family is just so wholesome. Like, they fight like sisters, but they love each other so much, and that is one of the most heartwarming and my favorite parts about this book in general, is how like different and vibrant and strong all of the sisters are, and how they complement each other and how they love each other. So I think that it would be really cool to be part of this family. Question 5 is, the colorful leaves are starting to pile up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. So I didn't really pay attention necessarily to like what books I was picking here, but I just got, this is my pile of fall-colored spines. This one, I guess you can shoehorn it in there, but it has the reds and the oranges, and you know, you've got the reds, the yellows, the oranges. I personally am absolutely obsessed with red trees. I think they're the most gorgeous thing that I've ever seen, and like the changing of the fall colors, I love it in general, but like specifically red trees. Okay, question 6 is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein a character is where somebody is telling a story. So the one that I chose for this was The Book Thief, and admittedly it has been a long time since I read this book, but death is telling the story here in this book. So that is sort of the overall like feeling that you get. That's the introduction you get, and you start off with like death telling you the story. It starts off from Death's perspective, which I always thought was really interesting. And I really like this book. It was definitely like very popular a few years ago. I think I read it in like 2017 maybe. I loved it at the time that I read it, so I thought that I would slide this in here as a recommendation. Question 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. This was an easy choice because I just read Pet Sematary in the month of October. So again, look for this one in my October wrap-up if you want to hear some more thoughts on it. But holy crap, definitely a creepy read. So this was sort of my like spooky October read, and I was not disappointed in the slightest with it. Question 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. So this pick, I mean, we're like a third of the way through November already, so we're not that far out, but this pick definitely depends on how early you personally like to start thinking about Christmas, because I chose In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I personally read this one in February this year because I thought, well, I kind of missed the boat on Christmas, but it is a romance, so I could at least read it around Valentine's Day, even though it has to do with a different holiday. That just made sense in my brain. But this is short. Yeah, this book is like 300 pages, and in addition to that, it is a very easy read. It flows very fast. I honestly think that I sat down and read this in one sitting, in one night, and it took me like 3 hours or something. So it was extremely cute, very heartwarming. So the setup for this is that you follow a girl who goes to her family's Christmas tradition, which is Christmas at a cabin with a bunch of other families, and like the parents have been friends since college, so the kids have all grown up together, and this cabin is their Christmas tradition, and she is in love, or at least has a crush on, one of the sons of another family. So the whole thing is, it's like a time loop setup. So she will mess up and then wake up and be doing this trip all over again. She'll mess up and then wake up again, and she kind of has to start to get it right. I was hoping they would lean a little bit more heavily into that because I like that trope, but I do also get that like this is an extremely short book. So if you're just looking for a little bit of fun, this definitely fits into warming up your cold and rainy day, even if it's in November and it's not Christmas yet. Question 9 is fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. So I actually struggled with this one because a few of my old favorites, like for example Harry Potter, I actually reread them last year. So I'm kind of like I'm quenched on a reread for that for a little while. But in thinking about it, I realized that one duology that I really liked when I read it was Six of Crows, and I read it in like 2017 and I haven't touched it since then. So I am thinking about getting more into the Shadow and Bone universe because this is the only thing that I've read. But just in general, like I think that it would be really cool to get back to this and read it again and see what I think now, because I did really love it at the time and I have not come back to it. Then question 10 in this tag is fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. So I said in a past video that I'm not a big person for like reading accessories, but for this specific question, this is not a reading specific accessory, but just a cozy accessory in general, and that is like Indigo, which is the big bookstore in Canada. They sell these blankets that are the softest things that you've ever felt in your life. That Indigo blanket is just like, it is my favorite thing to just cuddle up in and read and do like literally whatever. It is just the coziest thing, and I love having it around me on like these cold nights where I just want to cuddle up. And then the final question, number 11, is spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. So the two people that I'm going to tag are going to be Andrew's Wizardly Reads, because Andrew does, well, he does a fair number of tags, but I always love his tags because the way that he does them is always so fun and so funny and energetic, and I always really like to hear his answers because a lot of the times he'll come up with something like a book that I've never even heard of and he ends up piquing my interest for it. So I really like to see Andrew do tags. And then the other person that I'm going to tag is Evie from She Was Only Evie, and sort of for similar reasons. Evie is not quite as energetic as Andrew, let's say, but very few people are. The way that Evie talks about books, I always just love listening to her explain why she likes something, and it is a similar thing to Andrew where Evie reads a little bit differently from me. Like she likes to read a lot more classics. I like to watch her videos because she will often bring up something that I haven't heard of. So I really love both of their channels, Andrew and Evie, and I will have those linked down below, of course, and you should definitely go check them out. So that is it for the Finally Fall book tag. Hopefully I can get this posted before it's winter. Just kidding, it's only November 9th, so it'd be pretty pathetic if I couldn't. But I enjoyed answering these questions. It gave me a chance to talk about some other books than I would usually talk about, and so I hope that you enjoyed it too. Please like if you liked the video, subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!